Steve and Jill here.
Hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steve and Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from the Valley of the Sun.
Today, Jill and I are lucky enough to talk with longtime member Brandon Koon. Brandon, it's great to see you.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's good to be here.
Good. Yeah, I got to tell you, I was really looking forward to this because we have so much fun with you on everything that we do, from just our regular Thursday calls to career path. And I love sending things in the mail, little surprises. I know it's going to be fun today.
Yeah,
Brandon's famous for it.
Nope, it's all right. So I think you guys have tried to get me on him before, but I'm like, I don't really want to be in front of the camera. They coaxed me into it this time, so I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just do it.
Yeah. Once you just dive in, you're like, yeah, okay, now I'm over it. This is me.
Yeah, right.
Brandon he helps us out on our career path calls and on our Thursday member webinar calls, and he's famous for saying stuff like this. Yeah, I've never really had a job. I've only ever been an entrepreneur, and this is just my latest company that I'm doing, buying and selling land. And I guess it's now several years, but yeah.
Yeah, that's about my intro right there.
So let's hear it from you. Let's hear in your own words, successes and failures.
Do you want to hear like my background, like all that kind of stuff, or
whatever you want to talk about?
Okay. So I mean, just like Jack said, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. Ever since I was basically 16, I started like a lawn mowing business, and I would work like 2 days a week, just a couple hours on Thursdays. And then I'd work like a full day on Saturday. And I was making way more money than all my friends that had like full-time jobs and stuff. So I'm like, okay, there's something to this entrepreneurial thing. So ever since I was 16, I've just always wanted to work for myself and just have my own business. So that's basically what I did. As I got older, I transitioned into, different businesses. I've owned my first business, like when I was out of college, was like a telecommunications business. Did that for about 5 years, and then transitioned into internet marketing from there. Did that for a while, and then that kind of rolled into an e-commerce business. And that's been like 10 years ago, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of time. But yeah, probably 10 years ago, e-commerce. And then from e-commerce, that's kind of how I got into land is, kind of throughout that whole time that I was doing my businesses, I had always done some type of real estate. I had owned some rentals. I had done some wholesaling. I, at one point, owned a mobile home park, like just kind of a bunch of different things. That was always kind of on the back of my mind was real estate. But then I got into e-commerce and now land. So, yeah.
So how long have you been buying and selling land full time?
So I was looking this up. Full time was 2018.
Cool.
So part of that was because I had my e-commerce business, and obviously I had to keep paying the bills. And I had been doing some land like for, I don't know, maybe 2 years before that, and knew that I wanted to do land full time, but I still had this other business I was running. So I had to figure out how to get rid of it, basically. And before I could do that, I had to build up enough income from my land business so that I could feel comfortable. I ended up just selling that business eventually. But so I basically had to build up to where I felt comfortable to sell it. So I've been doing it since 2018 full time.
So what's a regular deal look like for you now? Or walk us through the progression of what a deal looked like in 2018 and what a deal looks like now.
That's a good one.
For sure. So I mean, it's crazy how much it's changed. I was looking back at my numbers, and my whole mindset and the way that I'm moving my business in the direction is just way different. So to begin with, I've always been the mindset of passive income, and, I've been a huge Rich Dad Poor Dad fan ever since I was like 20. And that's why I liked real estate and rentals and all that stuff. So when I first got into land, that's what was appealing to me, was that I could, build up a nice portfolio of notes and have some passive income. So that's actually what I started with was, buying properties for, let's say, $1,000 and selling them for like $6,000, $10,000, take a couple $100 down, a couple $100 a month. So that was kind of my goal at first. And I just kind of hit that really hard. I probably did, I don't know, like 100 deals within like my first year or two. just because I was just pounding them out and I was doing all the closing in house. So that's kind of where I started. And then as I got going, probably in 2020, I would say, so 2 years ago, that was when I kind of started shifting gears, probably because I'd been hanging out with you guys more and was like, okay, I got to start shifting gears and start maybe selling more of these for cash. But it was nice because I did have a nice portfolio of notes. It was bringing enough money to pay for all my expenses. It was kind of nice to have that. And I still own probably 30 notes, but then I kind of transitioned into more cash deals. And that was like 2020. So now like a typical deal for me now would be, I don't know, buy for 10, sell for 50, probably be a typical deal. I've done a lot of deals where it's buy for 5, sell for 30. That's probably mainly my bread and butter or something like that. Mm. And I've had some like crazy deals that we can talk about too if you want to.
Sure.
Keep going. Sure. Don't stop. I love this.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some crazy deals. Like I'm trying to, some of my like unbelievable deals. I'm just trying to think of one like that really blows my mind still. Let's see, I bought 2 properties for $8,000. So I sent an offer for $4,000, and this person said, "Hey, I've actually got 2 properties." And I said, "Okay, I'll give you the same amount for $4,000 for both of them. I'm sorry, for each one, so $8,000 total." And about 6 months later, I sold one of them for $125,000. So I made over $100,000 on one deal. Plus, I still had the other property, which I have listed now for $100,000.
Oh my God!
So out of those 2, it's like $225,000 from $8,000.
That's where Brandon said, "Okay, baby, I guess we can move."
Yeah. I mean, that's like one of the crazy deals. Yeah.
I was watching the news this morning, and they made a big deal out of this woman who won the lottery. She won $110,000 on a scratch-off ticket, which I don't know is possible. I don't know anything about it.
Right.
And I started thinking, that's what everybody does at Land Academy.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Right. She had to dig it out of the trash. That was the whole thing.
Was that what it is?
She accidentally threw it away or something. I don't know. And she had to go dig it out. It had like coffee grounds on it and stuff. She dug it out.
I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice if you could just win the lottery every month, like Brandon.
Exactly.
I know. I mean, it blows my mind to think that, I made more money on one deal in a month or whatever than most people make in a year.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's pretty crazy if you think about it. I mean, not every deal is like that, but I've had a couple like that I bought for 8, sold for 80. Some that are like crazy deals. So, yeah.
So how much mail do you send out now?
Yeah.
So my goal is to send 5,000 a month, which to you guys probably doesn't seem like a lot, but that kind of keeps me busy, keeps the flow going of deals, and that's like my happy space.
That's good. Because you're still kind of doing it. It's like, what help do you have?
If any.
So I have 2 VAs. So when I first started, my thought process was to do as many deals as possible, do like 100 deals a year. But now that's kind of scaled back to where I'm doing less deals, but bigger deals. So I'm making way more money, but not as many deals. But so when I first started, I had 2 VAs come on board, and they still help me out. Basically, one for like the basic due diligence. So once I accept the offer, I tell them to go do all the due diligence, like, get all the images, all that kind of stuff. And then I have a marketing VA. So when it's time to sell it, they go post it everywhere and get all the images on my website and put it everywhere. Basically that type of thing.
Cool. And then you do all the calls, and you answer the phone, and you're your transaction coordinator?
So I have Pat Live answers all my phones. I forgot about that.
Okay.
So yeah, Pat Live gets all my phone calls, and then I'm the one that calls everybody back. But usually I listen to them before to kind of test them, and I'll look up the property. And if it's not a good property, I usually don't call them back.
Right.
So I'm probably missing out on a few deals by doing that, but yeah.
So give us your numbers for this year-ish. Like, how many deals do you think you're going to do? What do you think you're going to net? And then finally, what are you really trying to improve on this year over last year?
That's good.
So probably to do just more deals. I kind of like the level of, what I'm making per deal. I kind of like the ones that are under 100 grand.
Me too.
Just because I feel like some people, I guess, have that much cash sitting around. It's more likely they can just pay cash. So I like being under that $100,000 area. Even really like my favorite is probably like 50 to 75,000 on the sell side. Yeah. What was your question? I'm sorry.
No, the first one's like, how many deals do you think you're going to do this year? The second question is, what do you think you're going to net? And, budget wise. And then what are you trying to improve on?
Yeah. So deal wise, I usually try to do like 2 to 4 a month. So if I can get 24 to 40 deals this year, I'd be happy. Last year, I think I did like 14 or 15 deals, and I netted on average like 55,000 per deal. So basically I just, so this year will probably be similar, just scale that up a little bit to where I can maybe do 20 deals this year, where I'm making, or maybe 25, 30, I don't know. Where I'm still netting, 50 to 60,000 per deal.
So you're making between 600, you're shooting for 600 or 700,000 and $1 million net.
Yeah, but I'm shooting for $1 million. I still haven't crossed that threshold where I'm trying to, get $1 million in a year. That's really my goal. But I'm happy with 600.
Well, because Brandon, you like us, we don't want to work that hard. So
right.
This is perfect.
That's part of it. Yeah. That's been my issue, honestly.
How hard do you work?
Not a lot, not really that hard. I mean, I'm in my office, but whether I'm really working or not,
See, this is the part that I want everyone to hear, that people, you don't have to go at this, and it doesn't have to be an 80-hour week, and Brandon's a lot like us, he's the one that brought it, pointed out to me. He's like, Jill, you're working like 4 hours a week on your land business. I'm like, yeah, you're right. That's
awesome.
Kind of what I'm doing, because we're just doing the fewer of the bigger deals and the right deals. And I'm not losing any sleep. I know how great they are. You do too when you buy them. And you can dial it up however much you want, or just, chill like you are and enjoy your new home and your family and your kids and hunting.
Yep. And I'm totally happy with that. I mean, that's kind of how all my businesses in the past have been set up. Passive income, like my telecommunications is all passive income. And I mean, I was always, I'd like boating once a week. I'd go golfing once a week. And my friends were like, how do you never work? And I'm like, I don't know, because I've got passive income. They always called it the Koon lifestyle.
I love it.
And that's just how I've always been. And I value my time probably more than I do anything. So I'm totally fine with that.
My friends used to think I was a drug dealer. Like, you have these cars all the time, and you don't ever go to work.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people thought that because I was always at home, never working.
Exactly.
It's awesome. I love it.
So what's your hang up right now? What are you trying to improve on?
My hang up, honestly, is I need a transaction coordinator. For some reason, I just it's so ingrained in my head that I have to do everything. And that's obviously one of my faults, is thinking that, but that's probably my biggest hang up right now.
Well, usually having a baby will stop you from your hang-ups.
Yeah. We've had plenty of those. We're done having babies.
Good. So are we.
Yeah. I think we were done after 2, but we're like, oh man, I guess we'll try one more. But after the 3rd, we're like, okay, we're definitely done. Our 3rd one's a handful. Well, he's just crazy. There's always something crazy he's doing. So
that's good.
Yeah, we're working on a product that, because everybody we interview has a couple of bottlenecks. One is it's either the mail or what you're saying, which is the end of it, the transaction coordinator, when you want to buy a property. And so we're working on a product. I don't know what we're going to call it yet. It might be Land Academy Gold. It might be a franchise product. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
Because we are very successfully sending out mail with concierge data. Mm-hmm. And we're very successfully closing transactions with Jill's staff the ones that we've vetted and been with us for years. So we're in the process of building out people. They are in the process of building out people under them, so we can allow very vetted, very already successful members like you and solve that problem for you guys. So
I mean, that would be awesome. I know for sure that's my biggest hang up. Like, you know me, I can find areas to mail. I'm good with all the data stuff. If I could just focus on that, I think I could easily double my income.
That's good.
Yeah.
How often are you using brokers to sell your properties?
So now almost all of them, honestly.
Good.
Yeah. Like I'd say 80%, maybe even almost all of them.
That's awesome.
I don't want to say 100%, but most of them.
That's great. So that's off your plate.
Right. Yeah. I like that idea of basically outsourcing my sales team just to agents, because that's what they do. So I've done that. And then obviously now I do everything through title. So I don't do all my, all the closing, all the deeds and stuff. That was honestly one of the things at first that really hung me up, because I hate paperwork and I hate doing all that stuff. So I created a system that would create all those deeds for me so that I could just like pound them out. But now I don't even use that really that much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the exact same thing. Exactly. We used to close all of our own deals. We had mail merge systems where you just input stuff in a form, it creates a deed, all of that. Or depending on which state you're selling it in, with the affidavits and all that. And now I don't use it.
That's where Deed Perfect came from, and I don't know who's using it.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I set up my business to scale, and obviously I still can, but I was setting everything up for, like I was saying, like 100 deals a year, 200 deals a year, and now I just don't do that. So I still use the system and what I set up, but I only use like half of it probably.
You're like more deals, and now you're like less deals, more
less
money.
deals, more money. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
This product I'm developing is designed to allow you to make $1 million a year and work about 4 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Where do I sign?
Exactly.
Yeah. We're working on it, and we this is honestly how much Jill and I work a week on the land business, and I know that it's possible to share that. So
our content is the most time that we spend.
Yeah. Oh, Jill and I work more than 60 hours a week each on all the Land Academy companies, and like 4 or 5 hours a week on the actual buying and selling of land.
And it's sad because it's like, there's times I need to be jumping up and down. Like I have this one ideal funded. I can't, like, it's this guy's first deal too. And we're all in at like, I don't know, 12,000 or something ridiculous. I mean, and we're going to split $100,000, and it's his first deal. And I'm like I always had to tell him on the phone, like,
he's wrecked.
I know. I'm like,
yeah, that's his first deal.
Exactly.
He's done.
I know. It's like he just walked into and hit the right slot machine. I'm like, this is bad. It's not going to always be this easy. And it was inside of a week too. By day 5, we had multiple offers coming in, and the kid's like, what just happened? And I'm like, you did it right.
It's like kissing the prettiest girl in school on the last day of school.
Oh no.
And that's it. And then chasing that for the rest of your life. Chasing that concept.
Oh no. And she moves away.
Yeah. You never see her again.
Never happened.
She goes off to Paris and has her beautiful picture perfect life. For one moment, you had it.
That's
exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah. My first deal wasn't that good, but my first deal was pretty sweet.
Well, tell us.
I'll tell you about my first deal. So because I had experience in wholesaling houses and stuff like that, I thought, hey, I'll just do this myself, but just take kind of what I had learned from wholesaling and apply it to land. So I actually sent out postcards, neutral letter postcards, to just kind of an area that I kind of knew. Obviously, I had like a bazillion phone calls of people wanting to know how much their land's worth and all that. But I did get one deal where I paid $750 for 20 acres.
Wow.
And I sold it and I sold it like a week later for $7,500. And I was like, this is awesome. This is way better than wholesaling houses. And that's kind of what hooked me, because I knew from wholesaling houses, on an assignment fee, at least back then, you'd maybe make $10,000 to $15,000. And so I thought, man, I made almost as much doing this as I did wholesaling houses, but wholesaling houses is way harder. So, and then I kind of just went nuts and bought like 2 or 3 for like 3,500, sold those for like 15, and then just kept doubling. So that's like pretty much all the money I ever put into this, really. And then I just kept doubling and getting bigger. And
it's all the money you ever put in. You just built from there.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I've ever put any more capital in there.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, that's amazing. All the million times we've talked, I didn't realize that. That's amazing.
Just kept doubling it and doubling it and doubling it. And then that's when I started putting a lot of that cash into other deals where I could get the notes, because I thought, hey, I want to push all this cash into notes. Started doing that and just kind of snowballed from there. It's taken me, 5-6 years to do it, but yeah.
That's what our listeners need to understand. This is not a get rich quick scheme by any stretch. Mm-hmm. It takes, Jill and I are we're into it almost 15 years together. And, now we're really getting rewarded, I think, for how much work we put in. But boy,
has it been that long?
It was a long road. It was a long road. So,
yeah. Well, that's like any business, and I knew that going into it. And obviously at first I was part-time. I think my first year I made like 25 grand or something, but that, that's a side hustle. And like, that's still pretty sweet little side hustle. And then my next year was like 50, then 100, then 250. And it basically kept doubling every year, which compared to other businesses that I've had, I've never had a business that just kept doubling every year.
I have a really similar story. I bought a property on eBay for $8,000, redressed it all up, and resold it on eBay for 16 or 18. I can't remember the exact numbers. 30 days later, never saw it, bought it from a different state, did the paperwork all myself. And that was it. I was like, this is what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. All I have to do is figure out one thing. This is what I told myself. I remember this like it was yesterday for some reason. I just have to figure out how to buy it consistently cheaper. And that's it. Yeah. Because the sales, the demand out there for land, we don't even need to talk about that. It's just built in. If the price is right and then property's good.
Yeah. Now that you mention that.
Go ahead.
My first property actually sold on eBay. Oh. So that's when I had my e-commerce business, and I was selling back then, eBay was bigger than Amazon. So I was selling a lot of stuff on eBay and Amazon. But my thought process was, why not just, put another product in my eBay business? And I thought land would be good. So actually I sold my first 3 properties on eBay.
That's cool.
Yeah, we did thousands and thousands of sold thousands and thousands of properties on eBay. And it was a great experience. That business model for us is gone for a bunch of reasons. I still see a lot of people successfully selling land. So it's possible. We just can't hit those multi-million dollar numbers like you. On eBay.
Yeah. I haven't sold anything on eBay forever. So
it did change a little bit.
Do you remember your first deal, Joe?
Mine was an eBay deal. He gave me a bunch of leftover property. He was going to write it off. You know how you get going, you forget about things. And he had some property he had bought so cheap so long ago that he had kind of written them off. But he thought, kind of see what I had. I was asking you questions about this too. He's like, do you think you want to try this? I'm like, yeah, give me a shot. Put me in, coach. And so
try this. There's a lot of terribly inappropriate things.
Yeah. Talking about focus here. So wait. Hold on. Actually, that deserves a yellow. You're okay right now. So, but yeah, you gave me a bunch of properties and I just started putting them on there, and you sat me down one time, showed me what the picture should look like, and gave me a template and let me go. And we would be out to dinner and I would say, excuse me, because it was Sunday night, and I'd have to go excuse myself and quickly send a few congratulations emails and the invoice for them to pay, and then come back and sit down at dinner and we turned around and you're like, what's going on? I'm showing you this bank balance. I'm building up $10,000 in here. He's like, what did you do? I did what you told me.
It works. Yeah. You just got to work there. You can't expect nothing to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
You do.
I think it's a lot harder now to sell on eBay, but I don't know because I haven't done it for a while, but I was getting towards the end, I was getting a lot of people that weren't paying and things like that. So
that was our thing too.
That's why we're gone too.
Yeah. Exactly.
Maybe 20, 30% of the people would pay. The other 20 or 30%, maybe 40% would just go dark completely.
Right.
Or they'd have a lot of questions after the auction's over, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to do all that stuff before. And
right.
It's just, and actually, honestly, I think that's just the sign of the world we live in, how the world changed, not eBay. I just think that's just the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's because you buy anything from Amazon, you can just return it.
Exactly.
Or pretty much anywhere now, right? You just don't want it, return it.
Yeah.
That's true. Exactly.
So, yeah.
So how about advice, Brandon? There's a lot of people that listen to this show who are wondering if it's for them.
It's good.
And please be honest, like, why is this for you and not for everybody?
I don't know. I think I was just built for this type of stuff. Because I've been so entrepreneurial. I've always loved land. So even going back, I had actually bought a couple pieces of land when I was doing some of my rentals and stuff. I bought them at like an auction. I don't know if you guys remember these. I'm sure you do. Where I'd fly into this area, they'd bring all these people in, they'd auction off like 50 properties. I actually bought like 2 properties, like pieces of land from that. Sold them, made some money. So I kind of had that bug, but I'd never figured out or put it together that, hey, I could do the same thing I'm doing with houses with land. And I've always enjoyed land and always thought it'd be way cool to own a ton of land.
Yeah, me too.
I just think, because I go hunting, I'm a hunter, so I'm always out in the mountains. I'm looking like at these big areas, and so every once in a while I come across a ranch or a cabin and be like, man, how do these guys own this property? It's they're sitting on like 300 acres up here in the mountains. So I just always thought it'd be cool to just own a bunch of land. And just the ease of it. So I don't like to work a lot, and I like to make a lot of money. So it's like, there you go. That's basically the land business.
Yep.
I mean, you're the classic Land Academy success story because you made it was in your soul long before you ever heard the words Land Academy for land reasons, for entrepreneurial reasons, and you've already had established businesses that have worked.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's everybody at Land Academy. I'm just saying the people who generate $1 million for themselves net a year or on the way doing that seem to have some or all of those characteristics.
Yeah.
We're not here because this is a hobby. We're here because we want to kick some butt.
I'm sorry.
So we're not here because it's a hobby. Yeah. He said, we're not here because it's a hobby. We're here because we want to kick some butt.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I kind of feel like a hobby, though. That's the way we are. I'm sure you are too, Brandon. Don't you just drive around and, like you just said, you're always looking at what's going on around you and what they have? And
yeah, I've always been like that, though. So I would sit in the mornings and eat my cereal, and I'm looking at the classifieds.
Yeah,
I've just always been like that. I've always liked deals. I've always liked to wheel and deal and buy stuff cheap and sell for more. And I guess it's in my blood. So I've just always enjoyed that stuff.
That's awesome. Do you have any last parting comments or thoughts or something to share with anybody listening here to help them out?
One thing I've noticed if you're already in the business, a couple things that solve problems is just sending out more mail. I've noticed if I ever have some issues come up, it's usually because I don't have enough mail out or I'm not looking at enough deals. So I would say send out more mail, and that usually solves your problem. Or try to get the property for cheaper. I've always noticed if there's an issue with the property, if you can get it cheap enough, usually you can solve those problems.
Love it.
Great advice.
Excellent.
And answer your phone. That's the only way I would add to that.
Yeah, answer your phone. There you go.
That's true.
Yeah. Or have somebody else answer your phone.
That's what that's
make sure it gets answered. That's true. Let's not go crazy here. Because that cuts into our 4-hour work week.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to get too crazy here.
Exactly. Full transparency. Well, thank you so much.
It's great to speak with you, Brandon.
It's awesome. And happy to be here today. 5 days a week, you can find us here on the Land Academy Show.
Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.